Hello, welcome back to the SupaTea Podcast Show. So this Soulful Saturday has been adventurous, so to speak, but very good, very interesting, very good. No complaints, lots of gratitudes. I just put something in my tummy, tum tum. So that's why I'm picking my teeth now. To get that extra chicken out of my teeth. Put it where it needs to be. So, this is technically part 3 of Soulful Saturday. I started out giving you a bit of an intro into what I would be doing, and then before I could even get past the first page, I don't even think I got past the first page. Oh no, I got past the first page. I was on the second page. When I got to the second page of the book that I'm going to be reading from, my alarm went off. And it's not the first time, and we do have an amazing system here, which I actually got to really, 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 really look at as I was walking down 4 flights of stairs. I evacuated because I could see the front door. We have a monitor that could show us the front door. And when I saw the firemen here, I was like, okay, I'm leaving. I had already got dressed for the cold weather, already grabbed the most important items. I guess that, well, I can't say that because I do have things that are more important, but I got things that will allow me to still function, operate, and stuff of that sort. But all is well. This place is good. This place is, I mean, we've had some wiring issues with them crossing the wires and certain stuff, but they have corrected it. They've gotten on it. So all in all, we have good management. We got good security. We have it's really a safe space. Like, I'm probably gonna be here until Armageddon is over. I think it's almost over, and I say that half jokingly, but very seriously. Like, that's what's happening, people. And I don't know if you saw my other episode, my other live right before this, um, but I shared a whole bunch of my thoughts on everything. So again, I encourage you to be fearless, to be grateful, to focus on your vibration, your healing, your growth, your self-development, because those are the tools that are going to equip you to ascension. And when we talk about ascension, we're talking about raising, right? So Earth itself, vibration is raising, and the things that are not in harmony with that with those raised vibrations are, they have to go. They have to go. You, even though we have free will, you can choose to raise your vibration. You can choose not to raise your vibration. However, if you tend to be here for a while, then I encourage you to raise your vibration. If you don't care, or you intend to come back, whatever, it's your life, it's your choice. I'm just here being of service, doing what my soul feels good doing, and it's a lot of different things. But here today, Soulful Saturday, is a new series, and we're going to kick off this series reading this book called The Seat of the Soul. I am completing this first chapter today, okay? It may have taken 3 hours because we got momentarily interrupted, but it was a good interruption. I've had chicken, I'm having coffee, I'm at my neighbors. It's a good it was a good interruption, It was maybe not so comfortable, but it was good. So with that being said, make sure you watch the previous 2 episodes. The one that I just uploaded is still processing if you come in the live right now. But 9 out of 10 times, people see these lives afterwards on their own time, which is why I appreciate YouTube as a platform to do live on, because I'm not here to dictate to you when you should be in front of your phone and what you should be doing in front of your phone at a specific time. It's your device. Do what you want to do with your device. When you have the time and if you have the interest, then you're here at the SupaTea Podcast Show. You don't have to be here when I'm here, because what I give to you, what I serve to you, is going to be available. It ain't going nowhere. It's there forever in cyberspace, okay? So if you come in and you hear while I'm here, awesome. If you come here after I'm not here and you just get to see my broadcast, awesome. Like, it's still there. The value does not change, okay? So anyway, with no further ado, as I sip my coffee, I am going to dive into this book. Now, I did not go through the whole long, it's not even a long, but I did not go through the process of putting in the name of the book and the author's name in the description. So I'm just going to hold this up to you so you can see it. And I'm going to take another sip of my coffee. Ooh, that coffee's so good. Mm. Mm. I got nutmeg inside of it, nutmeg and a little bit of sugar, and I like it black, black on black on black on black, black on black on black on black. Because obviously, I'm a brown skinned girl. My skin glows like pearls, even though I'm working on it. The best thing in the world. I never trade me for anybody. Brown skin girl. The best thing in the world. I never trade me for anybody. Hey, I love that song. I love that song. You know, I want to just show my flag right quick. I got more than one. I got more than one. I got more than one. But anyway, back to our regular programming. Seed of the soul. I am going to start from the beginning again because I don't know who has just a random 3 hours available. How valuable is that time? How valuable is time? Time is so valuable. Um, and that's pretty much what it would take. The previous episode is me dealing with the challenge that occurred during my first live today. So my first live today, I was reading, fire alarms went off, I evacuated. Then I came back. Now I knew that it wasn't extreme because it stopped. The alarm went off. Excuse me. Before I exited the door. But before I exited the door, I looked to see the front, to see what the front of the building looked like. Only two people was outside, which was another indicator that it was not something extreme, on top of the indicator that the alarm had stopped. But I did see firemen entering. And when I saw firemen entering, I was like, I'm exiting. I appreciate them though. Appreciate them. It's a very, very, very safe, secure spot. Like, I didn't even realize. I didn't even realize. Like, I could see the fire department, but it wasn't until, I don't want to get off the subject, but it wasn't until I took a class trip. And when I realized, when I took the class trip, welcome in, I was like, oh, we got the sheriff right there. We got, whoa, okay. We got professionals. We got trained professionals keeping us safe. Love you, trained professionals, for keeping us safe. And we got good management. We got good on-site staff. We got good stuff happening here. I'm grateful to be here. And we got a wellness, what you call it, attached. Like, what? We New Earth. We the babies of New Earth. So anyway, I'm going to start with reading chapter 1, Seed of the Soul. Welcome in. And chapter 1 is evolution, because this is the process of what is happening right now. Earth is evolving. Earth's frequencies are rising. I'm a spiritual teacher, and I've been practicing spiritual practices for over 10 years. Also an ordained minister, which I've been privately, serving, even though I have reached out and served up, you know, private clients. But with all that being said, we are evolving. We are evolving. The earth is evolving. Humans are evolving. We are going through an evolutionary process, and that is what you are witnessing. Unfortunate, that is what's happening on the West Coast. That is what's happening globally. Globally, the earth is evolving and people are evolving. And the earth is a living organism, okay? But before I go further, let's start reading. Let's talk about evolution. And let's learn about evolution. The evolution that we learned about in school is the evolution of physical form. We learn, for example, that the single celled creatures of the oceans are the predators of all more complex forms of life. A fish is more complex and therefore more evolved than a sponge. A horse is more complex and therefore more evolved than a snake. A monkey is more complex and therefore more evolved than a horse. And so on, up to human beings, which are the most complex and therefore the most evolved life forms upon our planet. I want to really point out upon our planet. And I'm going to finish this paragraph and I'm going to explain to you why I want to emphasize upon our planet. We were taught, in other words, that evolution means the progressive development of organizational complexity. So we're going to pause right there. Most evolved life forms on the planet. So, are you hearing what I'm hearing? The planet itself is a living organism. The planet itself is organized. It is a organizational complexity. The planet itself is more complex than we are. We are on it. It is more complex than us. It is orbiting in space right now. Ain't no strings holding it up. It is just up there orbiting. Sun is orbiting, moon is orbiting, earth is rotating. We're on a moving ball, people. The ball is more complex than us, okay? It's more complex than us. So we are not here to dominate the earth, okay? That's not what we're here for. That's not why we're here. We're here along with it to exist in harmony with it. This is the best way I could just say it, in the most simplest way I could say it. So we're not here to dominate it. Yes, we may be at the top of the animal kingdom, but we are not at the top of the solar system, people, of our solar system. And there's so many solar systems that's in existence, and we ain't gonna go that far way off into space, but let's just talk about Earth. Earth is a living organism. The earth is alive. The earth is alive. We're not here to dominate it. We're supposed to be working together with it. We're supposed to be in harmony with it. The life forms it's supposed to be in harmony with it. We're not supposed to try to dominate it. We're not supposed to do things just for our convenience. We can have convenience and we can also take care of our planet. We can have both. And guess what? The planet's vibration is raising. So we have to raise our vibrations if we're going to stick around. Otherwise, she will open up and she will swallow you. That's what an earthquake is. It shakes, opens, gone. Okay? Okay? She has done away with civilizations that were way more advanced than we are. Okay? Because they were not in harmony with her. They was like, oh, we advanced. We the ones that's doing. No, 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 no. I don't care how advanced. I don't care how much technology we have. This Earth, Gaia, will still swallow motherfuckers the fuck up. She's done away with whole civilizations before. Okay? We know this. We know this as facts. Because we find the shit up underneath the ocean and shit. Like, what the fuck is this out here? It's a whole fucking old ass ruin and city down here. What the fuck? What the hell? Yeah. The waters will rise. The lava will come from the freaking center and just. So those forest fires are not uh, accidental. They're the effect of the causes of people not working in harmony with the planet that we're on. People may be at the top of the animal kingdom, but we're not at top of the solar system, people. So let's see how we can get more in tune with the earth. But I'm going to continue because, again, we're talking about our souls. But I have to point that out because that was something that was revealed to me. I mean, it's something I'm aware of, obviously, but it's something that I was inspired to talk about just going through the experience that I just had. So let's continue. The definition of evolution is an expression of the idea that the organism that is best able to control both its environment and all of the other organisms in the environment is the most evolved. And they have in parentheses, survival of the fittest. Now, what that means is that the most evolved organism in a given environment is the organism that is at the top of the food chain in that environment. According to this definition, therefore, the organism that is most able to ensure its own survival, most able to serve its self preservation, is the most evolved. We have long known that this definition of evolution is inadequate. It didn't say it's inaccurate, it says it's inadequate, which means, yeah, all those things are true, but there's more to it. But we did not know why. Now, when two humans engage one another, they are, in terms of organizational complexity, equally evolved. If both have the same intelligence, yet one is small minded, mean, and selfish, while the other is magnanimous and altruistic, we say that the one who is magnanimous and altruistic is the more evolved. If one human intentionally sacrifices his or her life to save another by, for example, using his or her own body to shield another from an unseen bullet or a speeding car, we say that the human who sacrificed his or her life indeed was of the most evolved among us. We know these things to be true, but they are at variance with our understanding of evolution. Jesus, we are told, foresaw the plot against his life, even to the details of how his friends would act and react. Yet, he did not run from what he saw. The entirety of humankind has been inexorably shaped by the power and love of one who gave his life for others. Now, of course, I call him Yeshua ben Hosef, but this is what they have in the book. All who revere him and almost all who but know his story agrees that he was one of the most evolved of our species. Our deeper understanding tells us that a truly evolved being is one that values others more than it values itself, and that values love more than it values the physical world and what is in it. We must now bring our understanding of evolution into alignment with this deeper understanding. It is important that we do this because our current understanding of evolution reflects the phase of evolution that we are now leaving, and we have left. We ain't even there no more. But at the point of this book, when this book was written, We were leaving it, but we have left that point already. But I'm going to continue to read this book because a lot of people are not aware. They're not aware. They ain't aware that we evolving. They ain't aware that we have left past stages of evolution. They're not aware. So here I am with the matcha tea for you. All right. By examining this understanding, we can perceive how we have evolved to now and what we are now in the process of leaving behind. Again, we have left it behind already, but there's a lot of people who are not aware of it. By reflecting upon a new and expanded understanding of evolution. And guess what? The new and expanded understanding is going to continue to be new and continue to expand. The more we evolve, the more is our understanding going to evolve. So it doesn't stop here. This is not like, oh, we're at the peak. Not quite. There is none. We just continue to evolve and expand. All right. One that validates our deepest truths. We can see what we are evolving into and what that means in terms of what we experience, what we value, and how we act. Our current understanding of evolution results from the fact that we have evolved until now by exploring physical reality. Our five senses, our sight, our smell, our taste, what we hear, you know, touch, we smell, our five senses. We have been until now five sensory human beings. But Jesus was more than five sensory, he was multisensory. This path of evolution has allowed us to use the basic principles of the universe in concrete ways. We see through our five senses that every action is a cause and it has an effect. So, unfortunately, again, um, not to take away the sensitivity or compassion, because I do extend compassion to anybody on the planet that is going through just a very hard challenge. But the fires that we see that is happening on in California, it's an effect. It's an effect. And the cause was the people's actions. Every effect has a cause. We see the results of our intentions. We see that rage kills, it takes away breath, the life force, and it spills blood, the carrier of vitality. We see that kindness nurtures. We see and feel the effect of a snarl and a smile. We experience our ability to process knowledge. We see, for example, that a stick is a tool, and we see the effects of how we choose to use it. I'm gonna stop right here because these items that we're communicating with each other right now, that we're communing with each other, they are tools. These phones are tools. These phones are actually encyclopedias in our hands if we utilize it as such. Yes, it can also be a form of entertainment. And yes, it can be used as a weapon for people to bully, to mock people, and do things that are hurtful to others. But it's up to each individual what they choose to do with it. And we are not responsible for other people's actions and other people's choices, no matter who they are. No matter who they are, they could be our significant other, they could be our aunt, they could be our uncle, they could be our cousin, they could be our own children. Now, children up to a certain age, we are responsible for them. But after they reach that age, we ain't responsible for their choices or their actions. We're responsible for ourselves as adults. So, what are we going to do with what we have? What are we doing? What are you doing with what you have? You are responsible for you. Let me get back to the book. The club that kills can drive a stake into the ground to hold a shelter. So the same piece of wood that somebody could pick up and knock over somebody's head could be the same piece of wood that somebody used to build a house. It's basically what that sentence means. The spear that can take a life can be used as a lever to ease life's burdens. The knife that cuts flesh can also be used to cut cloth. The hands that build bombs can also be used to build schools. The minds that coordinate the activities of violence can coordinate the activities of cooperation. We see that when the activities of life are infused with reverence, they come alive with meaning and purpose. We see that when reverence is lacking from life's activities, the result is cruelty, violence, and loneliness. The physical arena is a magnificent learning environment. It's a school within which, through experimentation, we come to understand what causes us to expand and what causes us to contract, what causes us to grow, and what causes us to shrivel, what nourishes our souls and what depletes them, what works and what does not work. When the physical environment is seen only from the five sensory point of view, physical survival appears to be the fundamental criterion of evolution because no other kind of evolution is detectable with only the five senses. It's from this point of view that survival of the fittest appears to be synonymous with evolution, but it's not. And physical dominance appears to characterize advanced evolution, but it doesn't. When perception of the physical world is limited to the five sensory modality, the basis of life in the physical arena becomes fear. Power to control this environment and those within the environment appears to be essential. The need for physical dominance produces a type of competition that affects every aspect of our life. It affects relationships between lovers, between superpowers, between siblings, between races, between classes, between sexes. It disrupts the natural tendency towards harmony between nations and between friends. The same energy that sent warships to the Persian Gulf, sent soldiers to Vietnam, and crusades to Palestine. The energy that separated the family of Romeo from the family of Juliet is the same energy that separates the racial family of the black husband from the racial family of the white wife. The energy that set Lee Harvey Oswald against John Kennedy is the same energy that set Cain against Abel. Brothers and sisters quarrel for the same reasons that corporations quarrel. They seek power over each other, not power over themselves. The power to control the environment and those within it is power over what can be felt, smelt, tasted, heard, or seen. This type of power is external. It's on the outside. External power can be acquired or lost. It can be bought or stolen, transferred or inherited. It is thought of as something that can be gotten from someone else or somewhere else. One person's gain of external power is perceived as another person's loss. The result of seeing power as external, the result is violence and destruction. Again, those are the effects of the causes of seeing power as external. All of our institutions, social, economic, political, reflect our understanding of power as external. Because we the ones, the human beings, we humans, are the ones that's operating these organizations. So, of course, if we view something as external, those things that's outside of us is going to reflect how we view things. But if, as we raise our consciousness, as we raise our awareness, as we raise our frequency, then we're going to see more. And as we see more, then guess what? The stuff that's outside of us is going to reflect that. Families, like cultures, are patriarchal or matriarchal. One person wears the pants. Children learn this early and it shapes their lives. Police departments, like the military, are produced by the perception of power as external. Badge, boots, rank, radio, uniform, weapons, and armor are symbols of fear. Those who wear them are fearful. They fear to engage the world without defenses. Those who encounter these symbols are fearful. They fear the power that these symbols represent, or they fear those whom they expect this power to contain, or they fear both. The police and the military, like patriarchal and matriarchal families and cultures, are not origins of the perception of are are not origins of the perception of power as external. They are reflections of the way that we as a species and as individuals have come to view power. So again, I'm going to get back to my statement. As our perception, our awareness, our consciousness raises and we become aware of internal power, as we cultivate internal power, because the internal power cannot be taken away. Yeah, the things outside of us are going to change. Our economy is going to change. Our police is going to change. Our military is going to change. Those things are going to change and evolve. And that evolutionary process is what we see. Because what's happening? We just, before I got to this point in the book, we talked about selflessness. We talked about acts of courage, right? That's what we see happening also with those fires that are happening on our planet right now. We have people coming across the border. Let's say, fuck this border. We can help. We train to help bring this under control. We got to come and help. And they are crossing the border. There are firemen that are coming from Mexico to help with the fires that are happening right now in California. There are men that know that they're going to risk their lives to help somebody else out there right now. That is evolutionary. That is somebody that is stepping up and who is aware. Let's continue. The perception of power as external has shaped our economics. Yep. The ability to control economies within communities, within nations, and the ability to control the transnational economy of the world is concentrated in the hands of a few people. Well, that doesn't make any sense, but that's what's happening. And so we are evolving past. To protect workers from these people, we have created unions. To protect consumers, we have created bureaucracies and government. To protect the poor, we have created welfare systems. This is a perfect reflection of how we have come to perceive power as the possession of a few while the majority serve as its victims. And this is what we are evolving past. Money is a symbol of external power, but money is also a tool. Remember, let's go back a little bit. We was talking about how the same piece of wood that could be used to knock somebody over their head is the same piece of wood that could be used to build a house. Same thing applies with money. The same thing that could be used to manipulate and control and whatever can be the same thing used to build. Those who have the most money have the most ability to control their environment and those within it, while those who have the least money have the least ability to control their environment and those within it. perfect example of my previous episode. Now, had I been in my own house where I know that if the stove is on, I'm gonna turn it on. I know that if the alarm is going off, it is because of something that I have control over, then we wouldn't have had that interruption. But it's okay. It's okay because guess what? I may not currently have the external power to control my environment, but I certainly have the internal power to control myself. Oh, yeah, that I do have. And that is more valuable than the external power. Let's continue. Money is acquired, lost, stolen, inherited, and fought for. Education, social status, fame, and things that are owned. If we derive a sense of increased security from them, are symbols of external power. Anything we fear to lose, a home, a car, an attractive body, an agile mind, a deep belief, is a symbol of external power. What we fear is an increase in our vulnerability. This results from seeing power as external. But when you see power as internal, and when you have that power internally, then what you afraid of? Nothing. Fearless. You are fearless. And that is where we are evolving to. We are evolving to fearlessness. Let's continue. When power is seen as external, the hierarchies of our social, economic, and political structures, as well as the hierarchies of the universe, appears as indicators of who has power and who does not. Those at the top appear to have the most power. Appear. Remember, appear. They say they do. They appear. They look like they do. Everything that look like something ain't it. Okay? Those at the top appear to have the most power and therefore to be the most valuable and the least vulnerable. But we're seeing that ain't true. Because the people, those homes that have unfortunately disintegrated as a result of fire, were very valuable on the dollar. But flames, fire consumed it. They're gone. Those homes are gone. So they actually were more vulnerable than they realized. Those at the bottom appear again, they look like they're the least powerful and therefore look like to be the least valuable, look like to be the most vulnerable. From this perception, the general is more valuable than the private. The executive is more valuable than the chauffeur. The doctor is more valuable than the receptionist. The parent is more valuable than the child. The divine is more valuable than the worshiper. We fear to transgress our parents, our bosses, and our God. All perceptions of lesser and greater personal value results from the perception of power as external. Competition for external power lies at the heart of all violence. The secondary gain behind ideological conflicts, such as capitalism versus communism, and religious conflicts, such as Irish Catholics versus Irish Protestants, and geographical conflicts, such as Jews versus Arabs, and familial and marital conflicts, is all external power. The perception of power as external splinters the psyche, splits it. Whether it is the psyche of the individual, whether it's the psyche of the community, whether it's the psyche of the nation or the psyche of the world. There's no difference between acute schizophrenia and a world at war. No difference. There's no difference between the agony of a splintered soul and the agony of a splintered nation. When a husband and wife compete for power, they engage the same dynamic that humans of one race do when they fear humans of another race. From these dynamics, we have formed our present understanding of evolution as a process of ever increasing ability to dominate the environment and each other. This definition reflects the limitations of perceiving the physical world with only five senses. It reflects the competition for external power that is generated by fear. After millennia, okay, not just a little, millennia, okay, millennia of brutality to one another, individual to individual, group to group, it is now clear that the insecurity which underlies the perception of power as external cannot be healed by the accumulation of external power. It is evident for all of us to see, not only with each newscast and evening paper, but also through each of our countless sufferings as individuals and as a species, that the perception of power as external brings only pain, violence, and destruction. This is how we have evolved until now. And this is what we are leaving behind. And some of us have already left behind. I've left it behind already, okay? I've left it behind, so I get it. I get everything that I am witnessing through this wonderful device right here, through my digital encyclopedia. I get it. I get it. Our deep understanding leads us to another kind of power, a power that loves life in every form, and it appears a power that does not judge what it encounters, a power that perceives meaningfulness. That's what the first M in the matcha of the T of SupaTea Podcast Show. Meaningful. Yes. And purpose in the smallest details upon the earth. This is authentic power. When we align our thoughts, emotions, actions with the highest part of ourselves, we are filled with enthusiasm, purpose, meaning. We love life. Life is rich and full, no matter what is in the bank account, okay? You're still rich. You're still full. You're still happy. You still are appreciating life because you realize what it is. We have no thoughts of bitterness. None. We may have experiences that may temporarily be uncomfortable, may even temporarily be upsetting. We don't stay there. Those emotions go away. We don't create a bitterness as a result of those temporary emotions. They come and they go. They flow and they continue. And we continue to love life, be enthusiastic, live a meaningful life. We have no memory of fear. We are joyously and intimately engaged with our world. This is the experience of authentic power. Imagine, I'm gonna stop right here for a little bit before I go to the next paragraph. Imagine if each person was in their authentic power. Our world will look a whole lot different. Our world will feel a whole lot better. Can you just imagine, just imagine it within your own family. Imagine just you getting along. Even if you have difference of opinions, it's like, you know what? You think that, I think this, it's okay. We still love each other. You don't have to think how I think for me to love you. I don't have to control you to love you. I don't even want to control you. We don't want to do that. We don't want to fucking do that. We just have control over ourselves. And you have control over yourself. If that's what you want to think, that makes you feel good inside, then all right, go for it. If it doesn't make you feel good inside, then change it. You could do that. You could change how you feel. You could change how you look at something. You could do that. You ain't responsible for changing what's happening on the outside. What you looking at on the outside don't make you happy and feel good? Don't look at the shit. What you looking at it for? Why? Why do you choose to look at something that don't make you feel good? Why? I'm gonna continue. Authentic power has its roots in the deepest source of our being. Authentic power cannot be bought, inherited, or hoarded. An authentically empowered person is incapable of making anyone or anything a victim. An authentically empowered person is one who is so strong, so empowered, that the idea of using force against another is not even part of their consciousness. They're not even thinking about that. That's what they're thinking about. Why? Why would they think about that? There's no reason. No understanding of evolution is adequate that does not have at its core that we are on a journey towards authentic power, and that authentic empowerment is the goal of our evolutionary process and the purpose of our being. We are evolving from a species that pursues external power into a species that pursues authentic power. And that's why you have so many people talking about affirmations, creating your own reality, all of those things, all these metaphysicians that are coming to the surface now, all these big spiritual leaders, like big dogs, like my big dog Michael Beckwith, who gets up there humbly and does silly dances that I love to see and kicks his leg up in the air and stuff, and damn near 80. I don't know if he's 80. But he close enough to 80, I'm sure. And he's not worried about what you thinking because he's coming from his authentic power. He is utilizing his authentic power. It's so many people that's doing it. So many people that's doing it. Um, so, yeah, we are leaving behind explorations of the physical world as our only, it says soul here, but I just wanted to say only, means of evolution. This means of evolution and the consciousness that results from an awareness that is limited to the five sensory modality are no longer adequate to what we must become. Because as we must evolve, because our planet is evolving, yeah, we got to do it, or we'll get another chance in another incarnation. We are evolving from five sensory humans into multi-sensory humans. Our five senses together form one sensory system that is designed to perceive physical reality. The perceptions of a multisensory human extends beyond physical reality to the larger dynamical systems of which our physical reality is a part of. It's not the whole, it is just a part of. The multisensory human is able to perceive, to appreciate the role that our physical reality plays in the larger picture of evolution and the dynamics by which our physical reality is created and sustained. This realm is invisible to the five sensory human. It is in this invisible realm that the origins of our deepest values are found. From the perspective of this invisible realm, the motivations of those who consciously sacrifice their lives for higher purposes make sense. The power of Gandhi is explicable, and the compassionate acts of the Christ are comprehensible in a fullness that is not accessible to the five sensory human. All of our great teachers have been or are multisensory humans. They have spoken to us and acted in accordance with perceptions and values that reflect the larger perspective of the multi-sensory being. And therefore, their words and actions awaken within us the recognitions of truth. From the perception of the five sensory human, we are alone and a universe that is physical. From the perception of a multisensory human, we are never alone, and the universe is alive, conscious, intelligent, compassionate. From the perception of the five sensory human, the physical world is an unaccountable given in which we are unaccountably finding ourselves, and we strive to dominate it and so that we can survive. From the perception of the multisensory human, the physical world is a learning environment that is created jointly by the souls that share it, and everything that occurs within it serves our learning. From the perception of the five sensory human, intentions have no effects, and the effects of actions are physical, and not all actions affect us or others. From the perception of the multisensory human, the intention behind an action determines and affects. Every intention affects both us and others, and the effects of intentions extend far beyond the physical world. What does it mean to say that an invisible realm exists in which the origins of our deeper understandings are located? What are the implications of considering the existence of a realm that is not detectable through the five senses, but that can be known, explored, and understood by other human faculties? When a question is asked that cannot be answered within the common frame of reference, it can be classified as nonsensical, or it can be dismissed as a question that is not appropriate, or the person who is asking the question can expand his or her consciousness to encompass a frame of reference from which the question can be answered. The first two options are easy ways out of a confrontation with a question that appears to be nonsensical or inappropriate. But the seeker, the true scientist, will allow him or herself to expand into a frame of reference from which the answers that which he or she is seeking can be understood. We, as a species, have been asking the question, is there a God? Is there a divine intelligence? And is there purpose to life? For as long as we have been able to articulate questions, the time has now come for us to expand into a frame of reference that allows these questions to be answered. The larger frame of reference of the multisensory human allows an understanding of the experientially meaningful distinction between the personality and the soul. Your personality is that part of you that was born into, lives within, and will die with time, within time. To be a human and to have a personality are the same thing. Your personality, like your body, is the vehicle of your evolution. The decisions that you make and the actions that you take upon the earth are the means by which you evolve. At each moment, you choose the intentions that will shape your experiences and those things upon which you will focus your attention. These choices affect your evolutionary process. This is so for each person. If you choose unconsciously, you evolve unconsciously. If you choose consciously, you evolve consciously. The fearful and violent emotions that have come to characterize human existence can be experienced only by the personality. Only the personality can feel anger, fear, hatred, vengeance, sorrow, shame, regret, indifference, frustration, cynicism, and loneliness. Only the personality can judge, manipulate, and exploit. Only the personality can pursue external power. The personality can also be loving, compassionate, and wise in its relations with others. But love, compassion, and wisdom does not come from the personality. They are experiences of the soul. Your soul is that part of you that is immortal. Every person has a soul, but a personality that is limited in its perception to the five senses is not even aware of the soul and therefore cannot recognize the influences of its own soul. As a personality becomes multisensory, its intuitions, its hunches, its subtle feelings become important to it. It senses things about itself, other people, and the situations in which it finds itself that it cannot justify on the basis of the information that its five senses can provide. It comes to recognize intentions and to respond to them rather than to the actions and the words that it encounters. It can recognize, for example, a warm heart beneath a harsh and angry manner, and a cold heart beneath polished and pleasing words. When a multisensory personality looks inside itself, it finds a multitude of different currents. Through experience, it learns to distinguish between these currents and to identify the emotional, psychological, and physical effects of each. It learns, for example, which currents produce anger, divisive thoughts, and destructive actions, and which currents produce love, healing thoughts, and constructive actions. In time, it learns to value and to identify with those currents that generate creativity, healing, and love, and to challenge and release those currents that create negativity, disharmony, and violence. In this way, a personality comes to experience the energy of its soul. Your soul is not a passive or theoretical entity that occupies a space in the vicinity of your chest cavity. It is a positive, purposeful force at the core of your being. It is that part of you that understands the impersonal nature of the energy dynamics in which you are involved, that loves without restriction and accepts without judgment. If you desire to know your soul, the first step is to recognize that you have a soul. The next step is to allow yourself to consider, if I have a soul, what is my soul? What does my soul want? What's the relationship between my soul and me? How does my soul affect my life? When the energy of the soul is recognized, acknowledged, and valued, it begins to infuse the life of the personality. When the personality comes fully to serve the energy of its soul, that is authentic empowerment. This is the goal of the evolutionary process in which we are involved and the reason for our being. Every experience that you have and will have upon the earth encourages the alignment of your personality with your soul. Every circumstance and situation gives you the opportunity to choose the path to allow your soul to shine through you to bring into the physical world, through you, its unending, unfathomable reverence for and love of life. This is a book about authentic empowerment, the alignment of the personality with the soul, what that involves, how it happens, and what it creates. To understand these things, requires an understanding of things that appear, looks like, unusual to the five sensory human, but they become natural once you understand evolution. That five sensory perception is a journey leading to multisensory perception, and that you were not always meant to just be five sensory. That is the end of the first chapter. The second chapter, Karma, we will dive into next Soulful Saturday. It is a pleasure. My soul is indeed happy right now. It is happy. I am serving my soul's purpose by just sharing this with you. Again, I am a spiritual teacher. I had to accept this. Um, I my five senses, and of course my limited perception had me, comparing myself to other teachers, and just really not accepting, one of my roles here on the planet, because I feel like I have so many gifts, so many talents, so many things, and it's been tricky to see what do I focus, what do I use right now, and what do I do to express my soul, and it does change. Music and obviously my voice is a tool, but obviously also another tool is my pen. My pen is a tool, and I have many tools. So what I started to do was to take my good brother's advice, Michael Beckwith, and really, 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 really get discipline with my practices. I've been practicing for years, and my practices change and they fluctuate. But I needed to really just take moments every single freaking day to center and to acknowledge the bigger part of us, which is our soul. Our souls is immortal, like, so they never go anywhere. They may change forms, but it never goes anywhere. So it's like, okay, this bigger part of me, all right, I need to plug my personality into it, so that I know what is the best thing for me to be doing. So I am doing what I need to be doing. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I have the opportunity to remind others of their soul and to be of service in my community and meet other wonderful people that are doing the work within themselves. So I appreciate you too for creating this platform for teachers to teach on. I appreciate whoever has stuck around this whole. Thank you, Coffee Cake Lovin'. Beesh. Thank you for tuning in. I am looking forward to it too. I don't know if you gonna see my other episodes, but look at my previous episodes of how Soulful Saturday started with my episodes and my broadcasting. It started quite interesting, but I shared it. I shared it with you all because I just want everybody to be inspired to really, really take the time to look within themselves, to take the time to meditate, to take the time to go check out Michael Beckwith. Michael Beckwith is a good brother. Again, he's been doing this type of stuff for decades, and see how it resonates with you. See how it resonates with you. See how your own actions is going to create a different lifestyle for you. And if you're happy with the one that you have, wonderful. Be grateful. Expand that gratitude. I'm very grateful for everything right now. And I feel really good. I feel really good, really grateful. And it is my honor and pleasure to be of service and share and to teach. So thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate you. Share, discuss in your immediate circles, in your private circles, in your public circles. This is public, so you can share with whoever, and you can discuss with whoever, because collectively we are the ones that's going to make a different world, and the energies and the vibrations are raising. So we have to, if we want to be here, If we want things to be better, we're the ones to make it better, and it starts within us. So each individual, do your own individual work, do the work collectively, love to love and love life, and take your time, don't rush, appreciate all parts of life, and just know that we are evolving and work in harmony with nature. Don't work against her. Don't look to dominate the planet that we're on. No, we're supposed to work with her. We cannot dominate her. What y'all doing? No, work with her. Work with Earth. Work with Gaia. Work with her. You know? With that being said, thank you for tuning into the Super Tea Podcast Show. See you guys next Saturday. Next Soulful Saturday.